The realm of Aradûn was blooming with life on the cusp of the vernal equinox. Magic hummed in every breeze, and the ancient trees whispered secrets to those who would listen. But for Fenric, a young scribe in the village of Elderglen, the world was at once larger and more daunting than he'd ever imagined. He was poring over a tome in the dim corners of the Elderglen library when he heard the rustling of feathers. "Might I have a word?" cawed a voice from above. Startled, Fenric jerked his head back to see a glossy black crow perched on the library's rafters. "Great elders," he whispered, nearly dropping the heavy book. "You talk?" "Indeed I do," the crow replied, its voice a strange melody. "Name's Corvus. I bring tidings of great import. What you hold is more than parchment and ink. It is a prophecy etched through eternity." Fenric's heart pounded in his chest. Ever curious but grounded by doubt, he opened the book again. Lines of ancient script glowed faintly as he read aloud. "When shadows stretch and kingdoms fall, a scribe shall bind the key to all." The words hung in the air like an ominous echo. Corvus flew down, landing lightly upon the wooden table. "You are that scribe, and I am your guide. The time has come to leave your ink-stained world behind." "But why me?" asked Fenric, overwhelmed by the gravity of the moment. "Because, dear boy," replied the crow, "Aradûn is on the brink of unraveling, and you hold a thread to its salvation." Just then the door swung open, and in strode a woman with eyes as deep as twilight and hair touched by starlight. "I am Seraphina," she declared, "sorceress of the Valley of Mist. You, Fenric, have a role to play in a tale woven in magic and shadow." Fenric glanced nervously between the enigmatic woman and the talking crow. The ordinary world he knew was slipping through his fingers, and an epic journey beckoned him forward. With a reluctant nod, he embraced his newfound destiny. "Where do we begin?" he asked, his voice a mix of fear and excitement. Corvus flapped his wings, launching himself into the air. "Follow the ancient path through the Terraloon woodlands. We seek the forest's heart before the equinox fades." Seraphina smiled, extending a hand. "And thus our journey begins, for realms shall converge, and it is we who shall decide their fate." As they set out under the canopy of stars, Fenric couldn't shake the feeling that the very fabric of Aradûn was holding its breath, waiting for their tale to unfold. The dawn light filtered softly through the leaves as Fenric, Seraphina, and Corvus ventured deeper into the Terraloon woodlands. The forest's heart was a place of whispered legends, and Fenric felt the weight of countless eyes as they traversed the ancient paths, a sensation both unsettling and awe-inspiring. Vibrant flowers with iridescent petals surrounded them, leaving a trail of magic-tinged dust in their wake. Seraphina paused by a grove of elder trees, her fingers tracing their ancient bark with reverence. "The forest remembers," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. Fenric watched her, curious about the powers she held and the secrets she kept. "What is it, Seraphina? Do you sense anything amiss?" "Not amiss, Fenric," she replied, her eyes focused on the landscape ahead. "But something stirs. The forest's heart guards its own mysteries. We must be prepared for whatever we encounter there." Corvus flew ahead, calling back to them with a note of urgency. "Focus, you two. The forces arrayed against us grow stronger. Somewhere in this wood, shadows stir where they should not." Fenric swallowed hard, fists clenched to stave off the chill creeping up his spine. "Shadows, but Corvus, who or what controls them?" "An adversary whose name is spoken only in whispers," the crow replied grimly. "But that, young scribe, is for later. Now we make haste." With newfound determination they pressed onward, the tension in the air palpable. The trail twisted and turned until they reached a circular clearing bathed in golden sunlight. In the center stood an ancient stone pedestal, etched with runes that glowed faintly in the morning light. Seraphina stepped forward, her hand hovering above the stones. "The forest's heart," she breathed in awe. Before Fenric could respond, a flicker of shadow darted across the clearing. It coalesced into a figure cloaked in darkness. "So, the prophecy's pawns arrive at last," it sneered, its voice a low hiss. "Not pawns," Fenric retorted, surprising himself with his own boldness. "We are protectors of Aradûn." The shadow laughed, a chilling sound that echoed in the quiet clearing. "We shall see how strong a protector you truly are, for the trials of the heart await." The forest seemed to exhale as the shadow dissipated. Seraphina, undeterred, placed her hand on the stone. Energy pulsed through the clearing, vibrant and alive. The ancient runes flared brightly, revealing a hidden path leading deeper into the heart of the forest. "Come," she said with urgency. "Our journey just became one of peril and revelation." With hearts beating as one, Fenric, Seraphina, and Corvus continued their quest. Each step brought them closer to understanding the prophecy and the challenges that lurked beyond the shadows. Their journey led them to a realm so enmeshed in ancient magic that even Fenric, with his limited understanding, could feel the pulse of power beneath his feet. The air shimmered with latent energy, and the landscape twisted in ways that couldn't be deciphered by mere mortal eyes. Yet there was a beauty, an eerie, intoxicating allure to this terrain. Corvus darted through the air, his leaderly demeanor intensified by the enchanted setting. "We must find the Glade of Echoes before twilight. Many have wandered lost here," he warned, concern lacing his voice. "Long ago this was a hub of magic," Seraphina explained, her gaze sweeping the surroundings. "A nexus where the realms intersect. Now only echoes of that power remain." Fenric studied her, eyes wide with growing admiration. "How do you know so much?" Seraphina offered a knowing smile. "The Valley of Mist has its secrets, and so do I. But in the coming days, perhaps they will unravel for you as well." She touched his arm softly. "Courage, Fenric. The road is not yet lost." The path twisted once more before leading them into a glade where the tranquility was deceptive. Strange, musical tones floated on the breeze, speaking of ancient times and forgotten fables. The Glade of Echoes lay before them, a ring of standing stones etched with elder runes encircling a shimmering pool. A sense of both wonder and trepidation filled Fenric's heart. "What do we do now?" he asked, glancing first at Seraphina, then at Corvus. Corvus landed on one of the stones, adjusting his sleek feathers. "Listen. Here the past whispers its wisdom, and secrets are revealed only if you pay heed." Seraphina led Fenric into the center of the glade, placing a steadying hand on his shoulder. "Trust your instincts, Fenric, and remember, threads of destiny are woven here." As Fenric closed his eyes, focusing on the elusive melodies, a strange vision unfolded. He saw realms colliding, shadows encroaching, and flickers of hope in unexpected alliances. Faces of comrades yet unmet and foes yet unchallenged. With a gasp, he opened his eyes, breathless but determined. "We must seek allies from each kingdom. Without them, we can't hope to protect Aradûn." Seraphina nodded. "Yes, but we must tread carefully, for shadows lurk at every turn." "And time is not our friend," Corvus added solemnly. "The convergence is near." They departed the glade, heartened yet burdened by the vision's weight. The echoes faded behind them, but the path ahead was clear, at least for now. As the sun began dipping below the horizon, they knew each step taken was one where magic and courage intertwined, an adventure only just begun. As dawn broke anew over Aradûn, Fenric, Seraphina, and Corvus emerged from the cover of the dense trees into a landscape washed in amber sunlight. Before them lay the sprawling expanse of the sunlit vale, a realm renowned for its fertile lands and the formidable warriors who defended them. With the echoes of prophecy guiding their steps, they were resolute in gathering the allies needed to thwart the impending convergence. Fenric marveled at the vast fields, dotted with warriors practicing their art of combat. Their blades caught the light, gleaming like quicksilver. "Do you think they'll help us?" he asked, more to himself than to his companions. "If wisdom prevails, they must," Seraphina replied, no doubt lending her serene confidence to Fenric's wavering thoughts. The air was filled with a cacophony of voices and the clash of steel as they approached the heart of the vale. There, a warrior stood surveying their land, his presence commanding even from a distance. Clad in armor that seemed woven from the sun's very rays, his status as leader was unmistakable. "Lords of the Vale," Corvus announced as they drew near, "I am Corvus, and we come seeking an alliance to save this world and yours." The warrior's gaze swept over them, lingering on Fenric, who stood with a mix of awe and determination. "I am Elendor, warden of the sunlit vale," he spoke with a voice as steady as the earth. "Speak your cause, for our swords are made ready." Fenric stepped forward, drawing courage from the sincerity of his heart. "A great shadow threatens Aradûn. The realms are set to converge, and with it, darkness that could consume us all. We need your strength to stand against this fate." Silence fell as Elendor weighed the young scribe's words. The seams of trust were fragile, and Fenric held his breath, fearing they might fray under the weight of uncertainty. Finally, Elandor nodded, his gaze resolute. The sunlit veil has stood for centuries as a bastion of hope. I have seen the omens, and the time has come to face them. We shall lend our strength to Aradûn's plight. Relief swept over Fenric, mixing with a sense of burgeoning hope. Thank you, Warden Elandor. Together we can push back the darkness. As the alliance was forged, Seraphina whispered words of gratitude to the winds that carried them. This is only the beginning, Fenric. Many more stand in wait, as do the trials that test our mettle. With renewed purpose and the sunlit veil's warriors at their side, they set forth again, determination blazing fiercely, an assemblage of courage gathering against the impending tide. Under the guidance of both prophecy and their newfound allies, Fenric, Seraphina, and Corvus pressed onward through the sunlit veil. Beside them marched Elandor and his elite warriors, their presence a testament to the growing resistance against the looming darkness. As they ventured further into the heart of Aradûn, they approached a landscape steeped in mystery and magic, the Enchanted marshlands. Mist rose like silken threads, shifting and swirling with each breath of wind, and every step seemed to echo with the whispers of unseen spirits. Corvus fluttered close to Fenric's shoulder. Trust not only your eyes here, the marsh favors those who listen. Use your heart as a guide when the path becomes unclear. Seraphina nodded, her voice barely rising above the soft lapping of water. There is power here, Fenric. It's ancient and strange, but could prove a vital ally against the encroaching dark. The air thickened, each step filled with caution as they entered the marsh. Fenric's heart hammered with every rustle and ripple, each sound hinting at hidden eyes watching from within. He focused on his breathing, steeling himself for what lay ahead. Out of the swirling mists, a figure emerged, an ethereal being with skin like polished stone and eyes that shimmered like the clearest pool. Her presence was calming, and Fenric felt an unspoken understanding take root within him. The creature addressed them with a voice like wind chimes. I am Nyara, guardian of the marsh. Few receive my welcome, but your cause resonates with the waters. Seraphina stepped forward, her words gentle but clear. Great guardian, we seek your guidance. A darkness threatens to cast its shadow on all realms. We require whatever wisdom you can bestow. Nyara extended an arm, and water coalesced into a sphere which she offered to Fenric. This shall reveal truths and pathways when all seems lost. Use it wisely, young scribe. Fenric accepted the gift with reverence, feeling its cool power pulse beneath his fingers. I am humbled, Guardian Nyara. We will honor this boon in our fight against the encroaching night. Nyara returned his gratitude with a serene nod. Remember, even amidst the darkest waters, the light shall find its way. With renewed focus, they bid farewell to the enchanted marsh, the blessing of the Guardian, granting strength to face what lay beyond. For each ally they encountered, now stood as another stone, reinforcing the bridge of hope stretched across their daunting quest. With Elandor's warriors behind them, and newfound magic in their grasp, they continued on a path where each victory against the shadows brought them closer to the heart of destiny itself. Beyond the enchanted marshlands, the terrain of Aradûn shifted once more into the imposing silhouette of the Stormcliff Mountains. Jagged peaks tore into the sky, wreathed in perpetual storms that cast the world below into shadow and light. Together with Elandor's warriors and fortified by Nyara's gift, the adventurers made their way towards the domain of the Wind Acolytes, an elusive conclave known for their mastery of the skies. The path was treacherous, the air alive with the hum of magic and the boom of thunder. The climb tested not only their physical endurance, but also their resolve. The wind spoke in riddles, and the mountains whispered secrets of ages past to those willing to listen. Corvus took flight above them, his form a black streak against the gray sky. "Stay together," he called, his voice almost swallowed by the wind. "The Stormcliffs own a power that bends both will and weather. Our unity is our strength." Fenric followed Seraphina's measured pace as they trudged up the rocky trail, her presence a beacon in the storm's chaos. Despite the crackling tension in the air, he felt a growing conviction that their journey's end was drawing near. At the crest of a cliff, a figure awaited, distinctly human yet marked by the ethereal signature of wind and storm. Cloaks billowed around their form, eyes as fierce and clear as lightning. A voice sang on the gusts, calm amidst the tempest. "I am Zephyr, keeper of the storm. You seek what all mortals crave, dominion over destiny." Elendor stepped forward, unyielding against the gale. "Great Keeper, we seek an alliance. The shadows move to swallow Aradûn, and we must stand united to hold back the tide." Zephyr surveyed them with a discerning gaze. "The shadows may fear the storm, but storms follow none." Fenric felt compelled to speak as the prophecy's words burned within him. "Refuse darkness, not dominion, but harmony through convergence. We ask not for command, but the honor to stand beside you." For a long moment, Zephyr remained silent, the weight of their decision pressing heavily in the charged atmosphere. Then the Keeper smiled with the quiet grace of a breeze. "Very well, we will consider your plea. However, know this, proving one's strength doesn't always reveal it." With those words, a talisman of swirling azure was placed into Fenric's hands. The blessing of the winds, a sigil of their temporary truce. Gratitude welled up within him, and as they descended from the Stormcliffs, Fenric held the talisman clutched close to his heart. Unified by the elemental blessings they now bore, their journey continued, a coalition of hope and courage against the dark horizon that threatened to consume it all. Descending the last of the Stormcliff Mountains' rugged trails, Fenric, Seraphina, and their companions entered the verdant embrace of the Whispering Glades. Songbirds flitted between the boughs, their tunes a serene counterpoint to the challenges that lay ahead. Yet the real test was soon to come. Deep in the heart of the glades, they sought the wisdom of the Elven Arcanists, a reclusive faction of magic wielders, renowned for their insight into mystical energies, spoken in whispers since time immemorial. Fenric held firm to the azure talisman of Zephyr, feeling the gentle hum of companionship within its blue depths. The winds were with them. As they ventured deeper, the trees seemed to lean closer, their dense canopy filtering the sunlight into playful patterns. Corvus, a watchful sentinel, rested on Fenric's shoulder. "Tread lightly and speak truthfully," he advised. "The elves' allegiance is neither lightly won nor easily kept." Seraphina paused at a glen, an elvish sigil woven into the air with a flick of her wrist. A moment later, a soft shimmer materialized, revealing an elf of striking presence, their clothes melding seamlessly with the forest hues. "Welcome, travelers of fate," the elf said, eyes bright with an ancient fire. "I am Alarian, speaker of the glades. Your journey has been long, and your motives weighed by the forest spirits." Elendor, unwavering beneath that appraisal, stepped forward. "Aradûn stands upon a precipice. Unite with us, for together our strength may yet reshape fate's dire decree." Alarian inclined their head thoughtfully. "Unity, yes, but such a path is woven with rites and trials. Only through the testing of your resolve shall the forest deem you worthy of its aid." Fenric stepped forward, driven by an inexplicable bond with this magical realm. "Tell us, Alarian, what must we do to prove our intent?" "Each of you bears power," Alarian declared, gesturing to them. "Harness it to heal the heartwood which writhes under dark influence." With determination kindled anew, Seraphina and Fenric kneeled beside the ancient heartwood, its essence pulsing with the malignity sown by the encroaching shadow. Drawing on the collective strength of their talisman and the unique gifts bestowed on them, they channeled their energies to cleanse and renew. The very forest exhaled as vitality surged back through its roots and leaves, their combined magic weaving a tapestry of life and hope. Alarian smiled, approval glimmering in their eyes. "You have proven worthy," Alarian said, granting them a bracelet of woven silver leaves, an emblem of the Glade's commitment. "Let our symbiosis safeguard Aradûn against this looming eclipse." With the Whispering Glades aligned, Fenric felt the contours of possibility shift. Bolstered by newfound allies, they journeyed forward, heartened by the essential bonds forged on this arduous path, a testament to the resilience of light against an all-consuming dark. With each alliance they forged, Fenric felt the crescendo of their quest building towards a pivotal climax. As they moved beyond the serene boundaries of the Whispering Glades, a foreboding horizon loomed. The ashen plains stretched before them, a stark contrast to the lushness left behind. Here, a new test awaited. The land, scorched and barren, bore witness to ancient battles and the scars of time. Yet beneath its desolate facade lay the key to their next alliance, the Fire Sages, guardians of the eternal flame and wielders of immense power. The journey through the Ashen Plains was arduous. Each step kicked up clouds of dust that danced like phantoms in the barren landscape. And yet, it was the relentless heat that truly challenged their stamina, urging them to draw upon the fortitude of their shared purpose. Elendor led, his silhouette cutting a resolute figure against the shimmering horizon. "This is where our resolve is tested most fiercely," he said, glancing at Fenric. "The sages yield to none easily." Corvus circled overhead, scouting for signs of life in the expanse of desolation. The fire sages prize courage over words. Actions will speak at this juncture. As they neared the heart of the plains, the air became thicker, charged with latent fire magic. Flickers of light danced amidst the ruins of an ancient temple, a shrine to the elemental force of fire. A figure emerged from the flickering mirage, their presence a blazing beacon. "I am Ignathor, flame keeper of the Ashen Plains. You tread upon sacred ground where few dare walk." Seraphina, unfazed by the intensity of Ignathor's gaze, stepped forward. "We seek the strength of the flame to combat the shadows creeping over Aradûn." Ignathor regarded them, eyes burning like embers. "The flame yields to none but itself. Prove your spirits burn fiercer than the shadows, and the fire's strength is yours." Fenric nodded, feeling the familiar heat of resolve rising within him. Together, they raised their talisman, channeling the elemental energies gathered from allies across Aradûn. As they united their powers, a pillar of fire erupted, radiant and pure. Ignathor's laughter rang out, rich as the crackle of wood in a hearth. "Your flames crackle with the zeal of unity, tempered by hope and courage. The fire shall blaze in your fight." Bestowing upon Fenric a medallion of burnished copper, symbolizing the sage's allegiance, Ignathor stepped back into the flickering shadows of the temple. "Go, keepers of the flame, protect our world with unwavering spirit." Invigorated by the essence of fire, the company pressed onward. The alliances forged now burned bright within them, a testament to their unyielding spirit and the unified strength that would challenge the encroaching darkness looming ever closer on the horizon. As the adventurers left the barren expanse of the Ashen Plains, they found themselves standing on the precipice of a new challenge. Before them lay the kingdom of Aradûn, nestled among hills that rolled gently towards the horizon, a land known for its skilled diplomats and diverse peoples. The skies above Aradûn were beginning to darken, as if echoing the urgency of their mission. Time was running short. The convergence, once spoken of in cryptic whispers, was fast approaching, and the fate of the realms balanced on a knife's edge. "Aradûn," Elendor muttered, staring out at the kingdom's sprawling beauty. "A bastion of wisdom and valor. If any can rally the remaining free peoples, it is they." As they approached the gates, Fenric felt the weight of their accumulated experiences settling upon him, a mantle of responsibility he'd never expected but had grown to embrace. Inside the gates, the streets buzzed with anticipation and unease, the people sensing the impending storm their leaders quietly prepared for. Corvus landed with a soft thud on Fenric's shoulder. "Stay vigilant. Convincing the Council of Aradûn will demand every ounce of diplomacy and courage we can muster." The council chambers loomed, a stone edifice at the center of Aradûn. Inside, the councilors awaited, a circle of seasoned leaders, skeptical yet open to the whispers of prophecy. Seraphina stepped forward with grace and authority. "Esteemed Council of Aradûn, we bring you not only warning but a plea. Unite with us against the darkness that threatens all corners of our world." The head counselor, an elder woman with eyes sharp and wisdom deep, regarded them thoughtfully. "Words of coming darkness have reached us, yet words alone stand little chance against shadows that can consume worlds." Fenric, buoyed by the alliances they had forged and driven by newfound confidence, addressed the council. "We do not bring words alone. We bring the strength of the sunlit veil, the magic of the glades, the fire of the Ashen Plains, and the spirit of Aradûn united. Together, we can forge a light that even the deepest shadows cannot withstand." Silence descended in the chamber as the council deliberated. The air seemed to tremble with anticipation, each heartbeat echoing Fenric's fervent hope. Finally, the head counselor spoke, her voice a beacon cutting through the uncertainty. "We shall stand with you, for in unity rests our highest chance." Outside, the swell of commitment was palpable. Fenric breathed deeply, gathering strength from the resolution binding them all. In that moment, they were no longer a disparate fellowship, but a force poised to shape the destiny of realms. With the kingdom of Aradûn at their side, they turned their eyes towards the horizon, where the final confrontation awaited, a gathering of forces that would decide the fate of Aradûn. With the dawn of the final day illuminating their path, the coalition assembled by Fenric, Seraphina, and Corvus marched forth to the convergence point, a realm-spanning rift where reality seemed to hold its breath. Here, the strength and unity they had cultivated in their journey would face its greatest test. The sky churned with storm clouds, heavy with the promise of both creation and destruction. The air crackled with energy, and the threshold between Aradûn and the encroaching shadow realm was thin, all that stood between them and oblivion. As the army of Aradûn took their positions, Elandor rallied the troops, voices united in defiant cries. The allies from the sunlit vale, the enchanted marshlands, the whispering glades, the Stormcliff Mountains, and the ashen plains stood shoulder to shoulder, an emblem of hope against despair. Corvus soared above, his cries echoing commands carried on the winds. Remember your strengths. This is where we decide what the future holds. Seraphina, her eyes blazing with elemental magic, began weaving spells of protection around the gathered armies, calling upon the forces of nature to fortify their defenses. The time is now, Fenric. We must invoke the prophecies. With trembling hands turning to steel, Fenric took his place at the center of a ritual circle formed by each faction's leaders. The talisman of air, fire, water, and spirit vibrated in unison, the harmonious song of the elements rising above the clangor of approaching shadows. Guided by instinct honed on their journey, Fenric spoke the ancient incantation, a chorus of voices from ages past joining his own. Light flared, casting away the cloying darkness as the fabrics of both realms strained against each other. The shadowy specters emerging from the rift were met with resistance profound. Steel clashed, magic crackled, and the ultimate clash between light and dark unfolded, a symphony of courage echoing across the battlefield. Ignathar's fire scourged through encroaching tendrils of darkness, while Zephar's winds swept foes from the air. Alarion's whispers wound around them, sowing unity and strength where doubt threatened to unravel their resolve. Amidst the chaos, Fenric's voice remained steady, driving the incantation forward, weaving magic and willpower into the shifting currents of convergence. Seraphina's spells flanked him, solid and unwavering. The clash reached its zenith, a blinding blaze of energy exploding outward, bathing the realm in radiant splendor. The rift yawned wide, then sealed as time and will slotted the reality back into place. In the ensuing calm, silence reigned save for the whisper of the wind over the now ordinary plains. They had stemmed the tide, preserved Aradûn's future through unity, resolve, and the courage of every soul who stood together in that moment. Exhausted yet victorious, Fenric looked out across the assembly. Together, we have forged a tale of triumph. Let this be remembered by the world. His heart, once burdened by doubt, now soared with the freedom of shared victory, a legacy secured for generations yet to tread the lands of Aradûn.